us. It takes us a little bit of time to get up. So, thank you for joining us on this cold day. For some of you that don't know me, my name is Tyler Hoffman. I'm one of the elders here at Journey. We're going to do something just a little bit different today. Normally we have, when missions come and when they come and speak here, we give them some time just to reflect, to see how their year's going, and to see what they do and how they are showing Jesus throughout the world. Today, we decided, because it's our annual meeting, that we would give you just a little bit of a snippet of what the biggest mission field is to support right here within our own. The mission that we support is everything that happens, whether it be from a worship for Sunday morning sermon, whether it be from the activities the youth activities, the Sunday school, the social media posts, the youth groups, the worship, everything that happens within these walls is the worship or the ministry that. So I just kind of want to give you a little bit of just a snippet. I'm going to ask each one of them. I'm going to ask a question and then allow each one of them to just share their story, kind of answer that through those questions. We will still have a brief annual meeting after the service or after the second service. So I just encourage you to come back. There are some elders and stuff that need to be voted back in for their next term. So I'm one of them. So if you don't like it today, today's a good day not to vote for me. So I'll give a quick finance update after we pray here. So please pray with me. Father, thank you for a warm building that we can gather in to learn, celebrate, and dig into your word. Father, I pray that you would be with each of us on the stage as we take a moment to hear how you have orchestrated your church to come together to glorify you. Father, I pray that you would use our words to allow others to hear what happens throughout the year as well as day to day. Father, may you continue to work through each one of us to bring your word and love to others. All this. All right, just a little recap of the finances. 2025, we had a budget of just over $575,000. It was a tough year financially. We had a big expenditure, which was the roof. And we also, just being either short or breaking even month to month. So it was a little bit of a tough year. The elders and the staff and the ministry team leaders have worked hard this year to trim the budget as much as possible. We had some bigger building maintenance and things like that we cut from the budget. So our 2026 budget will be right at $450,000. So as you can tell, we've made some tremendous cuts. I encourage all of you to pray over our finances as our church grows, that our finances would grow as well, and those expectations forward. I can't thank you guys all enough for the donations you have. This that we have up here, that the building, this doesn't happen without each and every one of you. I do just want to thank you. All right, we're going to dig into some questions. Jen is super excited. As all of you can tell, she's can't wait any longer. So I'll ask the questions, and we'll give each of them just an opportunity to answer in the next question. What is one highlight you've seen in your ministry this past year?
I have a cheat sheet here because I can do kids, adults, a little bit harder. So I would hesitate to limit us to one highlight because there's so many great things that happen back in children's ministry, from learning Bible verses and sign language to kids volunteering to pray during worship. Probably one of the biggest things is just the connections and relationships that are made in the last year. I always feel like Proverbs 22:6 is pretty pivotal to our children's ministry. Train up a child on the way they should go, and when they're older, they won't depart from it. And just a quick little story that just kind of proves that is one of our LTA kids, younger ones, was upset. One of the older ones came over to him and said, "Hey, can I pray with you?" So he put his arm around him. It was just this very simple child prayer that he gave. All was right in the world right after he did it, and off he went. But I think it was just that simple prayer. And it was one of those moments that everything you've been teaching, everything you've been modeling shows itself. And not because we told them to do it, but because they see that there's power in it. And so I feel like that's what this ministry is about. It's about modeling, giving kids a foundation to build their own faith.
I think like Jen, it's hard to pick specifically one highlight. I think the thing that just, when I was thinking over like, man, this past year, the thing that really stands out to me is the zeal that the kids have for the Lord. It's not just some of them come to because they're supposed to or that kind of thing, but they genuinely come because they love Jesus and they genuinely have their own faith, and that's really, why I signed on. I was like, I don't care about numbers. I just want there to be real Jesus followers, and we can grow together, and to show those who want to join what that looks like. But yeah, I'm just really proud of them, and yeah, I think if I did have one specific story that kind of stood out, it would be a student and I were going over the gospel, and we wanted to have this student be able to preach the gospel any situation, wherever they go, and to really know the points. I think it's really hard to, like if you just sit there and I go, okay, everybody, go turn to your neighbor right now and preach the gospel. A part of you is probably like, hold up, like, what exactly am I going to say? You know, it's hard to find a starting point. What are the exact things that need to be talked about, and so on and so forth. And so with this particular student, started from the baseline, and we're like, all right, let's learn about what the gospel is according to Scripture, not according to tradition or anything like that. And after we studied it, we practiced it, and then like for 6 weeks or so, we practiced it, and now they're confident in it. And to see them go from struggling over what to say, that kind of thing, to being fluent, and like I could throw random questions at them from different angles, and they just take it and make it into a story of Jesus. I think that makes me really proud of them and their dedication, because, yeah, I just think it's so beautiful. So,
hi guys. I think for me, a ministry highlight this past year, so I stepped into the role of worship and media director, so that in itself was a highlight, I think, just with Adam and I working closely together to try and make that transition as smooth as possible, without having any gaps. Forgive us if there were a couple, but I think we're getting there. But really, I just wanted to speak about how I've been able to see and firsthand how selfless the volunteers are that I serve with. Just week after week, showing up prepared, willing and eager to just come and lead our church in worship and create an intimate space for you guys to worship. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scene in terms of worship. A lot of preparation goes in with the songs and how we choose it. And yes, although I lead our team, I'm not the only one who leads on a Sunday, so that's a lot of preparation on a couple of our other worship leaders as well. So just from me and from us, thank you for what you do. And I do have some stories too. So you know how we have our church at the fair service. Hands up who enjoys the service. Okay, there's a few, thank goodness. So I'm sure, as you imagine, how much preparation goes into that. So we have to set aside our equipment from this building, and then a couple of our team members have to meet at Journey very early that morning, pick up the equipment, take it to the fairgrounds, set the whole thing up. And I think this past year we showed up so early, but it was so hot already that by the time we finished rehearsal and set up, I think we all needed a change of clothes already. So that's one thing that not many people get to see. And I have one more story. Oh, I'm over time, sorry. Just like worship night. We had it on a Monday evening, right after Thanksgiving, in the midst of chaos. Everybody had work that day, and we needed to have a rehearsal before people came, right? So it's really about how our volunteers showed up prepared, also probably missed dinner time with their families, and still did it with a smile on their face. So just thank you guys so much.
I think a highlight for me probably started in a little bit of a low that we had leading a lot of our groups and overseeing our groups. And over the last year, a lot of our groups kind of took Christmas break, summer break. A lot of us took different breaks, and it was an extended break. We'll just say that. And even our own group, we paused for summer, and man, we struggled to get back in routine going again after summer. But as I was talking with leaders about getting started back up again, the highlight to me was seeing life group leaders and just step up and go, yeah, I'll get everybody back going. And as they reach out to their members of their group, they're like, oh yeah, we're in. And watching everybody come back together and seeing that it's a desire to have that time to grow, and that it's a need. Like, it was really good for me to see, yes, this is something we desperately desire and want to be a part of, growing together in Jesus.
Thanks, Adam. For me, a highlight is actually VBS week. I get to channel my inner child for like 4 or 5 days and just have a great time working with the kids. But beyond that, just working with the staff and elders on a regular basis. We have a great team here, great group of elders, and also just pouring into not only them but ministry residents. And one of those residents is Carson Broders, and she wrote this that I wanted to share with you quickly. Carson is junior this year, I think, and this is what she wrote after her first year here at college. I didn't realize that a genuine Christian community was something I lacked until I came to college and finally found it. My first weekend of college, I found a church, began serving, and haven't looked back since. I found that community when I found a good church and stuck with it. And when I stepped up to serve, and when I stepped out of my comfort zone to say yes to opportunities within the church, being involved in the local church gave me a purpose that I didn't even know I was missing, and it created lifelong connections. Journey Christian Church quickly became my home, and the people became my family. Just a great story of a student finding community here, a place to serve, a place to belong, and I think that's definitely a highlight for me.
All right, thank you for that. What was one surprise or challenge this year?
I would say last year when I was unable to be here, everyone stepped up. Like, not one program missed a day. Everything just kept running smoothly. It was just this overwhelming sense of peace that even though I wasn't present, every student, every child, every event was covered and continued on. Just for example, I had to miss the first 2 nights of VBS, and everyone stepped up, finished decorations, finished prep, and it went off without a hitch. Like, kind of felt like maybe I wasn't needed, but no. I think, though, that is just a huge testament to our amazing volunteers and the dedication that they have to our youth here at Journey. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has stepped up in any way this year to help keep things moving forward, because we absolutely could not do children's ministry without you.
I think one surprise that I've had was in regards to leadership. I think my tendency is to want to do everything like myself, and I recognize after a certain amount of time that my heart is just to love God and love people, and I recognize that I'm not the only one. The leaders that come and they serve these kids, they love God and they love people too, and so it doesn't just have to be me directly with the kids, that kind of thing. I can count on them, and actually we make a bigger impact as a team, and we can love people better because because everybody has their own special gifts that God has given them to love people, and they can connect with certain kids in ways that I can't connect with them. And so I'm just really grateful. I've learned the gratefulness of having the team that I do, and the value that they bring in the mission that God has given us, just to love kids. And I think that's something that I had to learn a little bit, was that.
I would say that one challenge this year kind of just highlighted for me is that, we always need volunteers on a Sunday. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, but a challenge that was brought to my attention was just managing our volunteer capacity. I don't think that we ever want you to feel that you're not supported. We don't want you to be burnt out or you're feeling like you're doing a lot. So it was really eye-opening to see how much like our volunteers give while juggling your own schedules. So with that, I think I've just tried to be intentional about my communication and my scheduling, and just emphasizing that rest is also important, just as serving is. And then I guess one surprise was just, I haven't worked in ministry before, so it was really surprising that although I have my responsibilities, but my role is really about like caring for people and forming good relationships. So, yeah.
I would say a challenge of working with groups is that we aim for multiplication, that we want to make disciples that make disciples. And sometimes that turnaround is difficult, because for each of us to say, boy, now I've been a part of it, but do I want to go out and lead it as well? That turnaround is often difficult. But as much as it's a difficulty, it's a worthwhile endeavor, that we want to continue to make disciples that go on to make more disciples. It's not just about memorization of facts, but it's about transforming our hearts, our minds, our souls, about all who we are, and then we get to walk beside others to do the same. And so as much as that's also a challenge, it's been fun to see people that have stepped up this year to do that. And maybe that's the surprising part, is to see people that have said, I've been in this for a year or two. I know I'm supposed to. And like they come to me with this, like you can feel the angst in them, like, I know I'm supposed to do this. I don't know that I want to do this, but it's something I know I'm supposed to do and God is calling me to do. So how can I do that? And that's really exciting to see leaders step up and lead in that, making disciples that make disciples.
One challenge that we worked through together was just the church finances. As Tyler alluded to, this year we cut the budget by 25%, and that just took a lot of work from the staff and the elders to do that. So that was a challenge. Another challenge that we have continually is just our growth. We've had to adjust staff roles and responsibilities to help accommodate and support the growth that we're seeing, and we have conversations on a regular basis of what do we do because we're running out of room. So it's a problem, but a good challenge to have as well.
All right, what is an area of ministry that you pour into that the congregation might not be aware?
I think maybe many don't realize that children's ministry spans birth through 8th grade. So we serve this wide range of ages, stages, and development. So nursery serves birth through age 2. Sunday school is toddlers through 8th grade. Rooted 56 is our 5th and 6th graders. Rush serves 6th through 8th grade. And then we have Life Tree Academy that serves pre-K through 1st. And a few of those families don't have a church home. And so Journey opening their doors to Life Tree creates a space for them to have that opportunity to have a church family. And like my story earlier, that little guy he doesn't have a church home. But because he's here, he gets to learn about Jesus, and he can share that with others. And so I think that's just one of the things that maybe doesn't get seen out in the public eye, but there's a lot happening with these little kids and their faith.
I'd say the one-on-ones that we do. So we offer one-on-one discipleship to any of the kids, and so far we have 15, and so that's like outside of Wednesday nights. So we have the Wednesday night, we have the Bible study, that kind of thing. But then we have volunteers, we have our leaders, and myself offer one-on-one discipleship with any of the students. Usually they go from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. And yeah, you just get one-on-one time and get to go through the Bible or a structured discipleship plan, get to talk about life experience, like answer the questions that they have, things about going on at school. It really helps you to personally connect, because it's hard to connect as much in like a large group, but I think one-on-ones offers a lot more of that personal connection. So,
as you know, our social media has been really becoming more consistent, and an area that you might not be aware of is what goes on at the office when those videos need to be recorded. It's mostly means convincing people to do it. There's usually some light, actually more than light resistance when I show up with a camera and just say, hey, are you free? I need to record a video. And then there's just like usually a quick debate about who gets to be in the video. And I say get, because that's the attitude we're gonna have this year, guys, yay. It's become a bit of a running joke, but that's been really fun, and yeah.
Part of ministry you may not be aware of, there's this thing called Church Center that I know you're sick and tired of hearing of that. No, I would say maybe there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in groups. There's I write up sermon-based discussion guides that go online for some of our groups to go through. So if they want to look at a Sunday morning and follow through with what that sermon was based on, but kind of dive in deeper with other questions and look through the scriptures on your own, I'm writing up those. And when we offer to go out for coffee and lunch, like that's a real offer. We really do love taking you out, and I so appreciate that you will meet with us and share your story with us. Like, I don't take that lightly that you do that. That you entrust us with some of the deepest parts of your life, and we never share that. And I'm not gonna be like, actually, so and so. No, we really appreciate that you would do that you would lay that out there for us. An exciting thing happened as we launched one of our groups over the last couple weeks. As I sat in the room with all of this group, I thought, man, a large majority of the people in this group I've met with for a coffee or a lunch or something over the last months, or sometimes it's even years, that they've been considering joining something. And it's really fun for me to see those conversations leading toward a next step toward Jesus. So.
I think for me, just the work that we do together as a staff team, we really work well together, and we help out in each other's area. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes rhythms to our ministry. We have weekly staff meetings every Monday afternoon where we celebrate what God is doing. We communicate what needs to be shared. We pray together. And we plan 3 to 6 months out at a time. We're already planning our staff and elder retreat in March. We're already planning Easter in April, and VBS is coming up in June. So we really put a lot of effort into that. The preaching schedule, for example, we plan that out about a year in advance. So I know on May 17th, I'm going to be preaching on Hebrews chapter 3 for rest for God's people. So just a lot of behind-the-scenes work like that goes on.
All your answers. I would like to go back to the staff meetings that you guys have. I got to participate in that this week. It was amazing. So as an elder, sometimes I don't even realize all the things that happen. Like, they just went around the room and shared, and were blocking times and schedules and communicating across, this group needs to meet here, this group needs to meet here. It took 45 minutes to go through that for a month's worth of meetings that are going to happen. Like, I was absolutely shocked at how many different groups are meeting in our church. Not that I'm not somewhat aware of that, but I was not aware of all of them. Yeah, huge shout out to the staff. Thank you for all of your answers. As we move forward here, I'll just kind of give a thanks out to all of the ministries and the staff for everything they do here. Outside of the staff leading some of these ministries, there are 11 volunteer ministry leaders. So I just want to thank you to each and every one of you for taking your time and your efforts to lead through that as well. And just the regular volunteers. I don't think we say this enough. Thank you to our volunteers for what you do for our church. The church doesn't continue to move the way it does without you. Going back to the Super Bowl just a little bit, it did start off with ministry team leaders providing soup for just the volunteers. And then we quickly realized that was most of the church. So that is why it's open to the church now, because most everyone was coming because we had that many volunteers. However, we still have areas that we need to fill those gaps, and so if you are seeking to volunteer, we do encourage you to reach out to the staff that is still in regards to the volunteers. Jen, how many volunteers does it take to run the youth?
So I knew it was a lot, but when I sat down and tallied up all the numbers, so for 2025, we had 188 volunteers that helped in some capacity in children's ministry.
I would tell you that does not include the Sunday morning ones on top of that. So when you think about that in perspective, how many volunteers it takes to keep journey moving forward. Once again, we do have the annual meeting following our second service, so if you would please come back for that as well, and we would give you the opportunity just to hear brief housekeeping things on that as well. Thank you to our staff for coming up and sharing. Please give some feedback if you like this. If you like this, please let our staff know or myself. This is something that we did off the cuff here. This was not necessarily planned in Dave's yearly plan, so it's kind of thrown him for a little bit of a loop here. So yeah, thank you. I'll close in prayer here, and we'll continue with our worship. Thank you for Father. Let's just pray. Father, thank you for everything you've done in our staff and how you bring all of our staff together, that you can share what's happening in what we could share in 2025 and how we're moving forward. And Father, thank you for the opportunity to come together and share just a snippet of what we are doing and what we are bringing together. Father, just please be with us as we continue our worship, and thank you for everything you do.